Yeah, we're on a bus last night. Obviously, come back from the game we landed, and then boom, we see this post. The last 3 Bruins coaches to get fired were all hired within 8 days with multi-year contracts.
Isn't that insane?
Claude Julien, Bruce Cassidy, and now Monty gets a 5-year deal. 5. I see Ty Anderson had a report, too, that he rejected offers. And the Bruins did not offer 5, though. But he got fired within a week. He got a 5-year deal elsewhere for a team that has recently won. I know they're in shambles now, but now he's going to be on the same bench with Claude? Tell me how that works out. It's such a weird sport to be able to do this. For guys to bounce around. If teams move on, you lose a guy mid-season, no big deal. Can't do it in any other sport. It's a beauty. But man, good. I'm happy for Butchie. I like Butchie. He's a good guy. He really didn't want to go to Vegas. Had to go there. Had to uproot his family. Went there and sit and spin. Won it first year. Like that's an all-timer. Monty's probably not going to do that. But still, for a guy that sort of got thrown under the bus here, for whatever reason, he won a lot of regular season games, didn't go over the hump of the playoffs, but he's got a 5-year guaranteed contract. Good for him.
I'm suspicious about all of this.
Yeah, you should be.
From what?
Jim Montgomery and how invested he was in being the head coach of the Boston Bruins.
Well, because of Ty's comments, too. Yeah.
So Ty Anderson did say on the hockey show right here on the Sports Hub over the weekend, and then also tweeted out that the Bruins did, in fact, make multiple pitches to Jim Montgomery on a contract extension before firing him. They were all turned down, and the feeling was they weren't close. My own thought there is I don't think they were ever going to 5 years, which may be true, but if they offered appropriate money at 3 or 4 years, maybe they'd have a deal done. I don't know. I'm just speculating baselessly. I'm just speculating on what it was. But I do think that they were far apart, in part due to his salary not being what a top 10 coach is making in the league. That's what I would say. That when he came into the job, he was making less than $2 million a year. I think that contract now in year 3 was right around that same dollar figure, about $2 million a year. You've got other coaches making $4 or $5 million a year in the NHL. So I don't know. Until we know the money, it's hard to make a claim on it. But I would just say this. Him going back there so quickly, him saying in his introductory press conference when asked when he was first contacted by the Blues that he didn't want to get into the particulars.
Okay.
Why would you not want to get into the particulars if the answer is 5 days ago, 6 days ago, this week?
Yeah.
Why? And here's another thing.
I'm not getting committed to the time.
Why would the reporter ask that question?
You're hearing something.
Why would a St. Louis Blues reporter ask him when did the team first reach out about coming here? I think there was speculation that the Blues were hoping Jim Montgomery got canned after the Bruins playoff run last year. They just hired Drew Bannister to be their head coach, and now they've blown him out here in year 1 to go to Jim Montgomery. Did Jim Montgomery know that he had the St. Louis Blues in his back pocket when he was pushing Brad Marchand on the bench? Did Jim Montgomery know that he had the St. Louis Blues in the back pocket when he seemingly, I don't know, was calling out players, benching guys, saying things that indicated his methodology has changed from years 1 and 2? Didn't Jim Montgomery seem like a different guy this year?
Yeah, they did.
It just seemed different. Everything seemed different. And so I question his motivation, meaning was he locked in and motivated as Bruins head coach? And if he wasn't, was that part of the reason he did get fired? Not just the way they were losing and not responding to him. I don't know. I think it's all fair to question.
All right, so
based on his history there, based on being the assistant, based on maybe the Blues hoping he could become available in the offseason. And as soon as he was available, blowing their guy out and hiring him right away, they really like him.
Wouldn't it be something, though, like if he turns it around pretty quickly there and he finds a way to win? He's a pretty good regular season coach, right? And then you get ownership here. It comes down like, why did we fire these two guys?
Well, that to me is what you should do. If you are one of these people that hates Don Sweeney and wants him fired, you should start rooting for Jim Montgomery in St. Louis. You should hope for him to go crush it.
Expansion team, they've assembled things. They built things the right way. Butchie goes there. They help win it. It's a good veteran team. That doesn't get on your radar as much.
Well, Claude didn't do anything in Montreal
right.
that was significant, so that didn't come back to bite them.
These would be 2 quick ones in a matter of 3 years.
But if Butchie winning the cup and then Jim Montgomery having success elsewhere isn't a sign that, hey, maybe it's not your coaches, maybe it's your roster building.
You've kept basically that core of that roster together, but you fired these 2 coaches in a matter of 3 years. So won a lot of games for you.
Elliot Friedman over the weekend, too, suggested that Montgomery told Sweeney about his vision for the team long-term and that it didn't jive with the 2, and then they also had a rift in terms of putting the coaching staff together. So to your point...
he wasn't picking his own assistants, right?
If you're Montgomery, aren't you kind of pissed about that situation, too? Like, you got to give me something here. I've earned that.
And you're thinking...
Hey, I can go to another franchise.
I'm getting out of here because, the Blues... He's friends with everybody there. They hired him immediately. They talk. It's like, hey, are you getting fired? Are they going to fire you for the finish, for losing in the playoffs?
Oh, you get a good victory song, man. Like that's.
Did he want out? Like,